Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video we've got things to discuss. For better or for worse, social media is responsible for these design trends. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. You can be the judge, but we're gonna get into it. Now the first trend that is back, that social media is responsible for is the plinth. I love a good plinth, okay? Obviously, I'm giving away my opinion on it right there. A plinth is great. Now, a plinth is basically just, some people might call it a plant stand, or, that's the keyword to look on the Facebook Marketplace when you're looking for one of these, a plant stand, but it's basically just a rectangular box, okay? Like made out of usually stone that you can use for decorative purposes. You can also get a plinth that is a coffee table shape and you can do that in your space, and I like that. It does have a modern look and feel to it, but the whole point is that these are really good pieces for styling, for filling an empty corner with. If you are the person you're like, I love sculptural art, I love a vase, a floral arrangement, a plinth is for you. If you've got that empty corner that you're looking to fill and you've got enough negative space elsewhere, okay, and you want to fill that corner, a plinth can be the perfect thing. I have got one right here in my studio, right next to my sofa here. I use it as an end table and you can do that too, but it's styled with a floral arrangement on it and it's in the background of all of my videos and I love it and it's a really good piece. Plinths can be great for tying in color schemes and stone together in a space, right? Like if you have stone countertops and maybe that's not your favorite, maybe you're renting, maybe you can't change them out right now and that's okay, but you want to do, some sort of other marble, you can do a plinth, you can do a little accent piece on a coffee table to start tying all of these tones in together to create a little bit more of a cohesive space, and you get a styling element. Another trend that social media is completely responsible for. I don't want to hear any other takes or opinions on this because it's not the truth. Social media is responsible for color drenching, and more specifically, color drenching applied moldings. Applied moldings, what are they? This is where you see the frame moldings, like that style of molding on a wall. That's applied moldings. And it's beautiful. It can look very traditional. It can be a great way to add in some interest into a more modern space, and that's really cool and everything. Color drenching is when we paint everything in the space one color. So you take it from the baseboard up to the crown molding. Maybe you even paint the ceiling in that color. Yes, you can color drench in all white. It would just be like the same texture and finish of paint, but you can also color drench in actual colors, and that's really fun. This is social media coded. So social media coded. This is where it's popular. You see it in a lot of influencers, content creators, and designers' spaces, and it looks really good. Now, what I like it, and I do think it's a really good avenue to consider if you're looking to fill in a big empty wall or you're looking to add in some extra detail, great. What I don't love is when people do too much, when you go overboard with mixing in trends. Like another big social media trend is lime washing. I think that's beautiful and it's great, but when you start doing applied moldings and color drenching and lime washing, it's just too much. It's a little too much for me, especially if you're doing it in a really bright or vibrant or saturated tone or a dark color. Like lime wash doesn't look particularly good in a dark color in my opinion, because it kind of just looks like it's like bad paint, looks like it's messed up. It looks better in a lighter color. All of those things are something you need to consider. Okay, you gotta think about it and think really hard on that. And usually when someone color drenches with lime wash and applied moldings, you paint match, you color match the lime wash with paint, and then you paint the moldings in that and then lime wash the actual wall. It gets complicated, it gets difficult. This is where having a designer in your corner can be your best friend if you're looking to do some of these things or make any decisions about your home, whether it's picking out the cabinetry for your new kitchen or where do I put the furniture in this space because it's a little bit difficult. Having a designer help you out could be a really good thing for you to consider, and I would be that designer. You can always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me. You can show me around your home and I can answer any and all of your design and decorating questions. Be sure you head to the link in the description box down below to check out my available times, or go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic and I'll see you over there. Another major social media design trend, and it's another one that I do actually like, is basically diffuse lighting, or what I would call like lighting that projects on a wall. And the reason I like this, the reason it's so popular on social media is because it just looks expensive. always, it just looks expensive. If you have a very minimal space, you don't have a lot going on, or you're on like a really tight budget and you're like, I want it to look luxury, like what do I do? Basically, you will see so many videos where it's like people teaching you how to make your house look more expensive and more luxurious, blah, 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 blah. No, literally forget all of that. It comes down to the lighting. And this is the trick. So the lighting that projects on a wall, and it doesn't matter what type of lighting it is. Your overhead lights, you know, if you have like a recessed LED light, no, that doesn't project on a wall, but you can do an actual light fixture that projects upward onto the ceiling. You can get lamps that shine a light onto the wall. You can do LED lighting integrated into cabinetry and furniture pieces even, where it does not shine directly and you can't see the actual bulb itself. So expensive looking. Even sconces that project light onto a wall. It's soft, it's glowing. It really enhances the space and the moodiness without seeing an exposed light bulb. It always looks and feels so expensive. So when you see a space and you're like, that's so luxurious, I want that in my home, or someone's telling you this is so great, why is it? It's usually because it has diffuse lighting, because you don't see a direct light bulb. That always feels more aggressive, it's more bright, it just really overwhelms and kind of can wash out a space even if it's in a warmer tone. Opt for lighting that projects onto a wall to make your space look more expensive. It's the easiest trick in the book, and it's something that a lot of designers depend very heavily on. They'll do like materials and stone and lime wash walls and then diffuse lighting. It's an easy way to make your home look more expensive without making major commitments to different textures and materials, gutting everything and redoing it. It's all about the light. Another big trend that is very popular because of social media is all about a cabinetry style, and that is inset cabinetry doors. Inset cabinet doors definitely have a big reference to like cottage styles, to that English style, like French country, like all of these more traditional styles. Inset cabinet doors are that reference point. I don't care what it is, it will immediately make that reference, but it's not for everyone, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Now, an inset cabinet door is a style of door where the door is inset into the frame of the cabinet, into the face of it. And you have different styles. You have partial overlay, full overlay. Inset, I think social media is mostly responsible for. It is the most expensive form of cabinet door you can have because it requires exacting precision. There's not a lot of play in the spacing, and so it has to be done extremely, extremely precisely. And that's not a bad thing. I like that, but most people don't have the budget to do it in their kitchen. It's a very, very custom thing to do. As it sits right now, there are only a handful of like prefabricated or assembly required cabinetry companies that are offering inset cabinet doors. Once again, because it's hard to do, it's difficult, and it's expensive. But if you are not like a minimalist fan, you don't want that like super sleek modern kitchen, you want something that has more of those traditional details, this can be a really good thing for you to think about. But if it's not in the budget, here's a little trick, a tip I love to do is all about replacing the inset cabinet doors with a decorative edge on your countertop. You don't have to go with just like a simple eased or a bullnose edge. You could do an OG or an OG with like a thicker base portion to it, so it really gets that like traditional luxury enhanced thick look to it. And what I'll also do for some of my clients is if they're not going to do a full slab backsplash, because that's just not in everybody's budget, it's not what everybody wants, a lot of them will opt for an extended splashback, and then we'll do the same edge profile on that so it almost looks like a baseboard on the cabinetry or on the countertop. Gorgeous, stunning. Love that. There are always little tricks you can use to enhance style in a kitchen and get you that look you're after, even if you can't afford the one direct reference point to it. Now, like I said, this is kind of if you're not into minimalist kitchens. Now, if you are into the minimalist kitchen, that is the next thing social media is completely responsible for. The minimalist kitchen can be gorgeous. It relies so heavily on materials, so heavily. And that's part of the reason that a lot of contemporary design people think they can go at or do themselves, or you see a lot of designers who are like, my style is the best, it's contemporary, blah, 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 and they're very dismissive of anything that's not that. It relies very heavily on materials. materials like, what is the type of cabinetry? And they'll be like, oh, the joinery and it's incredible, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just like a flat panel door, like whatever. Minimalist kitchens can be gorgeous, but they require beautiful materials, incredible levels of finish, and extreme organization. Because the point of the minimalist kitchen is that you don't see a lot of what's happening. So you're not leaving appliances out on the countertops. You're not, anything that is exposed is highly decorative or aligns perfectly with the overall design of the space. Every single piece. You're not gonna have an ugly strainer that is in the kitchen, right? Like a strainer is inherently like not a beautiful thing usually, yet no. With a minimalist kitchen, it's gonna be gorgeous. All of the dishware, pots, plates, the silverware, everything is going to be stunning. So if you're in a space where it's like, hey, you're a big time cook and you wanna have everything and everybody's gonna be there and the grandkids are over and the kids and they're leaving their stuff here and there and everywhere, this may not be for you because it requires you to be extremely on top of absolutely everything. I think a minimalist kitchen is gorgeous. And like I said, it relies very heavily on materials. And if you're really big on those materials, this could be a 10 out of 10 for you. I am a little bit more of like a whimsical cook, I would say, where I want to have, you know, like my things out and I want to see them. I'm a very visual person. So if I can't see it, I don't necessarily think about it. Okay. This may not be the thing for me because if I need to leave something out on the countertop, I'm gonna see it. It will affect the overall design. And the minimalist kitchen doesn't like that, which is why social media is so responsible for this, because there's a fine line between something being beautiful and something being livable, right? You have the form and then you have the function. And I believe a space has to have both of those things. And a minimalist kitchen can, if you truly embody the minimalist lifestyle, it might be for you. But if you're not that person, there are certain things we can do to get you the look and feel without having those compromises. Look who's come to say hello. Hi, Arden. Hi, do you want to say hello to everyone? No? Okay, well, you have a little lint there. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so beautiful. I had to cut off all of his Grinch fur. He had to have a haircut. He's not too happy about that, but that's okay. Arden, what do you have to say to everyone? I agree. Arden says this would be a really great time for you to hit the subscribe button and join us. Become a part of our GarrettLeChic family. Yes, become a part of our GarrettLeChic family by hitting that subscribe button or pulling out your smartphone and scanning this QR code right over here, where it will take you directly to my channel page and you can join us. Here, we'd also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like and give us a little bit of hype to get this video shared across the platform. Okay, Arden, while everybody hit subscribe, I'm gonna let you go back to your nap. How does that sound? Would you be amenable to that? So beautiful, but is not interested. Okay, all right, there you go, yes. You can lay on my lap, would you like that? Yes, that's very sweet. Okay. Now, another trend that I'm going to give social media almost complete credit for is the return and the rise of herringbone floors. Now, a parquet floor is nothing new, and parquet basically just means like shapes of wood put together, like essentially is what the translation is. Parquet is gorgeous, and we love a parquet floor. And the reason this has returned so heavily on social media is because people love to watch these like chateau renovations, and they love to see beautiful design in historic buildings and all of the architectural detail and molding, and they're like, oh, I want herringbone floors. I have to have that in my home. Here's my problem with that. Okay, I love a traditional reference. I love a beautiful detail. I love quality in all of its shapes and forms, right? But when you're looking at a historic building, and you're like, I love that detail, I want that in my home, let's understand why the detail is there, and then let's apply that appropriately in the space. So a herringbone floor would not traditionally like pass through a doorway. Okay, you would have a piece of molding or a trim there, or a border to stop it and break the direction of it so it could either face in a different direction, or you could have it be applied appropriately in the correct space and orientation in a room, individually of each room, right? When you put herringbone floor into your house and you just do it absolutely everywhere through all of the hallways and everything, you start to lose the effect of the herringbone and what it was meant to be, okay? So here's how you do that. You add a border. You add a border into the space. You add a border around a room, and then you can do the decorative style flooring in the middle of it. That's what these decorative styles are for, okay? If you don't do that, it just kind of looks like 1970s parquet, which honestly I like. I like low-key, I kind of love parquet. I would look at homes, I love houses, I would buy a house because it had parquet, okay? I think it's great. You can refinish it and do all sorts of things with it. A lot of people are just haters on it because they don't like things that are older, but they just like don't have an appreciation for quality and detail, but that's beside the point. People love herringbone. Herringbone is very hard to DIY. It's not easy to do, and it's not for every home. Like, I don't think a mid-century home should have herringbone parquet floors because it's like, they're not like related. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying it just is like, why is it there? Like, that's not what that house is. So why does it have that? Think about the materials you're using and the details you want to incorporate in the overall style and what the historic reference of that is, okay? On social media, that gets lost. On social media, it's just about, oh, it looks good, put it in. But it doesn't always make sense. And so think really long and really hard about that, because the best homes, the most beautiful, the ones that have the greatest longevity are the ones that a lot of thought and effort is put into. Not necessarily it's just the most expensive trend or it's the highest end version of that trend is thrown into, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean your home will always be in style. Another trend that social media gets all of the credit for, it's not good, it's not bad, it just depends on who you are in your style and your lifestyle, is Viola marble. Now, obviously, Viola marble, I'm gonna get some people in the comments who are like, but Viola marble's been around forever. Yeah, I know, literally it's marble, it's millions of years old, okay? Honey, it came out of the ground. Relax. But the trend really took off on social media with designers and kitchens and everything. I have some clients who love it and they swear by it and we're designing their whole house around it, and that's stunning, but it's not for everyone in every space. Now, you can also use this as accessories. That plinth I talked about in the beginning of the video, do it in Viola. Get some Viola bowls and, you know, trays in your home to accessorize with if you just have like a simple white quartz countertop. Okay, fine, great. Let's do something that has some of that tone in it to make a reference. I wouldn't say commit to doing tiling that has like a Viola color to it, but I would say that maybe a paint color or accessories, lampshades, those sorts of things, you could easily do to tie this tone in without the commitment of replacing your countertops. With this, you could get a coffee table or a dining table that has this as the surface material, and then get accessories in it that tie it together in the other spaces where you don't have any of that color. It's a beautiful material. Social media is totally responsible for this, and I do like it. I like that these materials sort of always come back around, but don't think you have to do this in order to have a beautiful or luxurious kitchen. There are a million other materials out there, which is why I always say when you are choosing countertops in your home, go to the stone yard, have a look around, see what's out there, and fall in love with something to take some inspiration from. Now that we talked about some social media design trends that we all know, and some of us love, but that's beside the point. Be sure you check out this video right over here, all about some of the top 2026 design trends that are everywhere right now and you need to know about. Be sure you check it out, and I will see you over there. Or may also see you, but that's beside the point too. Thanks for watching.